And then there were two. TLC up next on BET Tonight. Girl Talk is the latest from the ladies that have sold more records than any other female group in history. The song mixes the elements that have made TLC a bona fide hit-making machine. Tight beats, sexual innuendo, and many times a jab at men have been staples for these three girls since they hit the scene years ago. And once they hit the scene, they never looked back. While trouble and hard times were no strangers to Tian, Rosanda, and especially Lisa, they always seemed to land on their feet. But last April's tragic car crash that killed Lisa Lopez sent the lives of all involved reeling. While the world mourned the death of the young star, her group mates barely had a chance to grieve before they had to finish the project that was due. A project much of which was conceived by Lopez. I caught up with T-Boz and Chili and talked about the new project and how they tried to go on without their friend. Are you as excited about this CD as any of the other CDs before?
Actually, we're always nervous. Excited but nervous, but a little more nervous on this one.
Why?
It's just different, this whole project.
Is it, I know it is. How difficult is it to sit and try to talk through this as if it's normal? I mean, I know that, you know, you'll do 40, 50, 60 interviews. People like myself will ask you the same questions over and over. It's got to be difficult for you, I would think.
I mean, it is very difficult because this is what we do. You know, I mean, it's a job. You know, so it's not like, you know, the interview itself is out of the ordinary because it's a part of the job description. But as far as, you know, talking about Lisa and the incident and just the fact that she's not here is just something that we'll just always have to deal with, and it'll always be something very hard to deal with.
Is it a sense of, I said let's talk about the CD Happier Times first, but the idea that just talking about the CD, you have to talk about her. Is it difficult to do, to separate the two?
It's a tribute to Lisa. There's no way you can separate it because she's a part of our lives. And to go on to add to what she just said, it is our job, but you never think your personal life at home would be incorporated with your job, but with us it is. You know, so every time we sit and talk about the CD, the songs, no matter what you do, you know, all the times aren't sad times. We have a lot of good things to say about Lisa and to remember of Lisa. But yeah, it's hard to do our job more so any time than before, but it's something we have to do if we're going to see this album through and let this album live and breathe for Lisa.
When you think about the tremendous success you guys have had, I remember going to the Apollo years ago and seeing the three of you come in, and no one at that time knew who you all were. And I thought, you know, you had the condoms and the whole nine, and I thought, who are these little girls right here? As you think back to those days and you think about the travels that you had, did you even let yourself dream that you would become as successful as you have become?
You know what, it's funny because we were so excited about being at the Apollo period, and we were nervous because, you know, at the Apollo, it's like no joke.
It's like make it or break it.
Yeah, it's no middle ground there, but we were very excited there, and I think, like, for me, I mean, I always said I wanted us to be the biggest girl group ever, so, you know, that was always, you know, something stuck in my head and just something that I wanted for us, period. So, you know, didn't really know, but wanted that for sure.
That's funny. Apollo showed us love, though. They ran to the front.
Oh, they did.
Everybody rushed the front. That's when you know you made it at the Apollo.
Yeah.
When you think about the dreams of being the biggest girl group ever, and you think that you have attained at least the success of selling more records than any female group in history, that kind of accomplishment, what does that say to you specifically?
that TLC is blessed, totally blessed. We always called it an MTB thing, just meant to be. It's kind of hard to answer that because we never could figure it out because our chemistry was always so strong. And despite the rumors, we never did break up and never could break up. We just stuck through everything together and became stronger together. And that's why this album is so important for us to see through, because collectively we were so excited together when we started working on it. We wanted to smash those rumors and show the unity between us three.
Surprising to you, though, the number of sales when you think about, and you know, you go down the list, the Supremes, you know, even current, you know, day, In Vogue, et cetera, that you've smashed those records?
See, I don't think we look at it like we smashed, like.
But I mean, let's not be, look, it's nice,
No.
it's nice to be modest, but let's just tell the truth. You all have sold a hell of a lot of records.
Well, you know what, I think that, you know, I mean, a lot of people are blessed with talent, but I think that there are just chosen ones, and that's just my opinion. You know, there's only one Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? There's only just certain people, and there's only one TLC. You know, there's never been a girl group like us, and to this day, you know, we have opened the doors for many girl groups, you know, but it's still not TLC. You know, and I just think that we have something very special that God
chemistry
did put together. Yeah, and you can't put together chemistry. It's something that is naturally there. It was totally meant to be. You know, so when it's like that, you can't explain it. All you have to do is just kind of sit back and just, you know,
watch it take off.
Yeah.
In knowing the chemistry, did it anger you when the press would talk about how internally you all would fight this and that? And while you admittedly fought, you were a family and families fight, but you all knew what the truth was versus what the headlines were saying.
Yeah.
Were you angered by that?
I mean, press feeds off of negativity more than positive, so that's what sells. You know, so
in
that
a sense,
comes along with
you knew
your
it
job.
came along with the game.
It came along with the game.
Don't like it.
I mean, you know, it's just part of your job, but I mean, you don't have to like it, but that's a part of it. You don't like everything about your job, but it ain't no big deal. That's what makes the world go round. You just don't have to be a part of it. But as long as you know in your heart what's real, it don't matter what nobody else thinks.
Let me do this. Let me take a break here. We'll come back, talk with these two young ladies a little bit more about the new project. We'll find out about their families. Her little monster is upstairs. I was teasing her just a few minutes ago.
I said, what you mean, monster?
And we'll talk a little bit about Lisa. We'll be back right after this.
We're back with TLC. All right. Got the voice on and everything.
You want to talk like that when we was on commercial break?
I know.
No, I was just playing.
Yes, my ghetto has left me for just about 6 minutes, which is what we have for this segment. So let me ask you all something. I know it's difficult to not only talk about Lisa in one sense. I mean, certainly you want to talk about her to keep her spirit alive and all. But I would imagine this time where you have to do it time after time after time after time. Are you at all worried about the fact that it may become almost commercial, that you kind of know what the question is going to be and you say, oh, yes, this or that? Or will it be, do you think, fresh for you each time?
I mean, I think personally for me is fresh every time because I just miss her. You know what I'm saying? And I love her so much. You know, that's my sister. I just want to see her. I want to hold her. I want to hug her and all that. So anytime I talk about it, for me, it's almost like it's the first time because in a lot of ways, I'm somewhat in denial still. You know, it's just kind of hard for me to accept that. I know it, but I just don't. I'm just not really ready to accept it 100%.
Are there times still that you literally get up to call her on the phone?
Well,
or say, let me drop this by the house?
No, I don't do things like that, but still, even at a time like this, you know, I can still psych myself out and say she's working on her project. You know what I'm saying? And she's, you know, she's just,
else.
Yeah, she's somewhere else, you know. And so I still have to do that to be all right sometimes, you know. But that's my way of grieving.
And for me, when I'm home, I go to church every Sunday. I have to pray a lot and ask for peace constantly, you know, because doing these interviews and, you know, promoting this album wears you down. So some days are hard at home, you know, but you have to keep going on because I have a child, a husband, you know, have a family life. And you know, my daughter's too, she doesn't understand why mommy's upset or crying. So I try to hold it together best I can, but I wouldn't lie and sit here and say that it's not hard. It's very, very, very hard, and it hurts a lot. And I know it's true, but I don't want to accept it, but I know it's that way.
You think of her every day.
You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
help but to.
Every single
She's
solitary
all,
day.
that,
Are you
that
at a
was
point
our
that
whole
you don't
life.
cry every day now?
I don't cry every day. Not every day, but I cry a lot. Or, you know, have you ever had a pain in your chest when something's really bad or you hurt? You get a lot of chest pains, like your heart hurts because something is the way. You can't change it. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just that way. And you have to just learn how to deal with it. So that's why I pray, so that I will learn how to deal with what I have to deal with, because that's the way it is. And I can't change that.
You will have a song on the new CD, Turntable, dedicated to her. And in it, you say, don't ask yourself why. Did you have to learn that, though? Did you ask yourself initially why? Why did this happen?
Everything happens for a reason.
I mean, yeah, well, even in knowing that everything happens for a reason, you still question sometimes. I think that's only human nature, you know, because it's like, why? You know, and then you have to get to the point where you're like, okay, you know that everything happens for a reason, but you still don't have to be happy with it, you know. So even to this day, you know, I still just, you can't let yourself go there, but sometimes you do.
But
I
it
think
hurts though when you do that.
And I think it's normal, you know. I think that it is. I don't think that you should try to put yourself in a place and you're not ready yet. You know, I'm not saying you just sit there and just grieve and live in denial, but at the same time, you know, with accepting everything, it's steps. Just like you have to crawl before you walk, you know. So like we don't cry every day. You know, we could cry every other day, or
And
just
everybody
sometimes.
has a different way of
grieving,
handling it.
yeah.
So you can't really judge nobody on how, like, she has it her way, I have it my way.
Right.
You know, but one thing we have in common is that we know how each other feels because we're
Right.
going through it together.
Are the two of you, I don't want to say closer, I would imagine to some degree you're closer. How has it changed your relationship, though, outside of the obvious being closer, maybe holding each other a little tighter? What have you learned?
You appreciate stuff way more than you used to.
Yeah. The time that we spend together and stuff is just so much more precious to me now than before, because before you always assume, well, I'll see you next time.
Okay, I'm gonna go on trying. I'm gonna go on chase. Bye,
yeah,
girl.
you just go. You know, but it's like I make it a point to call and, you know, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Because you just have to, because you don't know. Everybody says that life is long, but life is short because you don't know when your time is up.
Was it cathartic to write Turntable, to be able to express in song what you wanted people to take away from how you all were feeling?
Yes, it was very important, and it's funny because when I sat down to write, a little piece of you is kind of like, it's calming, kind of let something out. It's therapeutic. Yeah, that's a good word. You release something. It doesn't take away all the pain, but you feel a little better. There's a little piece of that hurt gone, you know? So that song is, out of the whole album, really dedicated to her, and it's so meaningful. A lot of people can get stuff out of it. 9/11, and, you know, and everybody who's passed recently, their families.
Or what